Imhotep existed was because there's a statue of him, and a statue proves that a motherfucker existed. Well, here's a statue of Anubis, a grown-ass man with a motherfucking jackal head. Does this prove Anubis existed? Now, the brother Shakka Ahmose disqualified or allegedly attempted to disqualify Babylon to Timbuktu, as well as Hebrewism, West Africa, which is fine. He mentioned a book to Africans that wrote the Bible. So I looked into this book, and I'm getting ready to order it, but I have some excerpts from the book and some scholarly commentary upon the book. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read this commentary of the book, and then I'm gonna read some actual excerpts from the book. Okay. Judaism is the African way of life. You hear that? Judaism is the African way of life. Dagger to you. Okay. That disproves this a book that you reference actually destroys your argument. Judaism is the African way of life. Judaism was the religion developed in Africa by African people. Book, and I'm very glad this brother dropped this gem. Thank you so much, Shakka. The word Israel itself is an Akan word. Now he makes the claim that the Akan and the Ashanti have no Hebrewism. Yet this Akan brother Doc Watt says the word Israel itself is an Akan word from Ghana, which your mom is from, is she not, Shakka? Your mama is from Ghana. And you see that? That's a dagger, right? That's a dagger in my best Teddy voice. That is a dagger. You see that? Come on, man. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, give double honors to our elders, you know, the apostles, and say shalom to all the brothers out there doing the work of truth and sincerity. You know, and the name of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai is the name of the Most High God of Israel, and the name of His only begotten Son. Okay, who the world ignorantly knows is Christ. All right. You know, this is brother, Chief Priest Alazar Bunloy. I'm here with my deacon and brother Hakad Gawayam here. You know, I'm also known as the Guerrilla Hebrew amongst the conscious community. Reason we here today is to basically answer Shakka Ahmose. Okay, he's been going on a rampage. He got a damn Energizer battery in his back. You know, and he's running around rampant. So it's about time he get checked. Okay, by the Most High God's ambassadors, the prophets of the Most High God. Okay, the children of Israel. All right, matter of fact, give me a scripture real quick. I need two quick ones. Let me get Numbers 31 and 49. We're going to liken this conflict unto, you know, the story of the Exodus, under Pharaoh versus Moses, all right? Something real life for you, Shakka. Well, go ahead, give me that Numbers 31 and 49.
This is Numbers chapter 31, verse 49. And they said unto Moses, Thy servants have taken the sum of the men of war which are under our charge, and there lacketh not one man of us.
That's right, there lacketh not one man of us. So I just want you to, I wanted to read that so you understand who you up against. You don't have that batter in your back, you're running around, you feeling yourself. You know, brothers is leaving you alone. They made a conscientious effort to go on ahead and leave you alone because you ain't really talking about nothing. You're trying to make the same argument polite and said he already got murdered on, okay? You just a little more scholarly than them, so you come with a little bit more, but it's the same exact argument. And dudes keep getting bodied on it. So I don't even know why you is running around blowing the smoke. You are, but you know, we coming to answer it. Because understand, not one man lacketh over here, man. Okay, we coming in the name of the Most High God of Israel, the only living God, okay? Not no idol, all right? I just want to make that plain and clear. Give me Proverbs 18 and 17, if you could, Papa Shot, briefly. Okay, I want to get these scriptures to build a foundation, and we're going to get into some of the claims, the outrageous and outlandish claims this man has been making. Okay, we're going to make a diligent inquisition and get to the bottom of your bullshit. Shot, go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 18, verse 17. He that is first in his own cause seemeth just.
Go ahead.
But his neighbor cometh and searcheth him.
His neighbor cometh and searcheth him. See, this is the scripture I always go to when I'm dealing with you so-called conscious cats. Reason being, because that's a cold cut. Y'all always is the first one spouting off at the mouth. And everything you saying, it sounds really good and it sounds right until your neighbor, which in this case is me, my brother, comes and searches you out and gets to the bottom of your bullshit. Makes a diligent inquisition. What does the word inquisition mean? It means a quest. I'm going to quest into the knowledge and the information that you're bringing out, and I'm going to prove which is right and which is wrong about the claims that you're making. Okay? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, might I add. All right? The first order of business, matter of fact, give me Galatians 5 and 26. Shakka, in one of his first videos in regards to getting at us as Hebrew Israelites, the brother says what? He says, I want the glory. He made that statement. He said, I'll take on the whole Hebrew Israelite community by myself because I want the glory. And what you did by making that statement, my brother, I'm going to tell you what you did. What you did was point out one of the most fatal flaws of the Kemetic Nile Valley civilization. You pointed out one of the greatest flaws. I want you to read that. Galatians 5:26.
Galatians chapter 5, verse 26. Let us not be desirous of vain glory.
Let us not be desirous of vain glory. You see, when you deal with the system, the Hebrew Israelite system that the Most High God gave to us as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, what we are dealing with here is a system based upon structure, order, and humility. Okay? A level of humility unparalleled by Kemet. Kemet has no form of humility like this. That's why you can make statements like, it's about me and I'm coming. I want to take on the whole Hebrew Israelite community because I want the glory. The scriptures say what? Let us not be desirous of vain glory. We are coming here to establish truth. The truth of the Most High God of Israel. It's not about the Hebrew. It's not about any particular Hebrew Israelite sect or camp. This is about the Most High God of Israel. The God that the Bible speaks of. Okay, and that's the humility that we put. We put our deity ahead of us. You don't. You put yourself and you turn yourself into a demigod when you say the things that you do. Okay? Now, let me get 1 Timothy 1:17 real quick. You got something else? Okay, go ahead.
This is Titus, the 1st chapter, verse 10. For there are many unruly and vain talkers.
An unruly and vain talker, that's you. An unruly and vain talker, okay? You just spouting off at the mouth, and most of the shit you talking is bullshit. And we gonna prove it. Go ahead.
And deceivers.
And deceivers. Liar. You a deceiver. You are deceiving the people, either ignorantly or knowingly. Go ahead.
Especially they of the circumcision.
What does that mean, especially they of the circumcision? You are the circumcision. Now, whether you are actually circumcised or not, that's not the point. Don't think carnally here. They of the circumcision means those who are Hebrew Israelites, those of the lineage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who you claim didn't exist. And we're going to get to the bottom of that in a second. But those are the circumcision are us as blacks here in America, okay, and elsewhere, and in Africa, and in West Africa, okay, yeah, and even in parts of East Africa, yeah, we're there, we're all over the world. But we're dealing primarily with those of us here in the Americas because these are the people that I personally interact with on a daily basis. So we deal mostly with those of us here in the Western Hemisphere. Are there Hebrew Israelites in Africa? Yes. Okay, and you proved that, actually, okay? And just for one example, let's take a look at the Limba tribe out there in Kenya. All right, but go ahead.
Whose mouths must be stopped.
Whose mouth must be stopped. So the Most High God says, Shakka, Ahmose's mouth must be stopped, okay? You done spouted off. I let a lot of it slide. For it's been a while. He's trying to heat up. I said, man, I can't take this anymore. I can't allow this guy to deceive the people and lie and continue in this arrogant, proud rant with this battery in his back. Go ahead.
Who subvert whole houses.
Subvert whole houses. That's what you subvert no houses. You leading people to the path of damnation with your madness. Read.
Teaching things which they ought not.
Teaching things which they ought not. That Kemetic stuff that you teaching is something that you ought not teach. The Nile Valley civilization is not what is expedient for our people. And that's what the debate needs to be about. And I would love to debate you on that. The Nile Valley civilization versus the Bible. Which is more expedient for our people in this day and age? That's what the debate needs to be about. Something real. Something that can help our people today. Which is better for our people right now? That's what we need to debate. So that's what I'm challenging you to debate, Shakka. If I got to fly out there to New York, then let's make it happen. Okay, go ahead.
What do you want to tell me?
Oh, give me 1 Timothy 1:17.
This is 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 17.
Let's go to Timothy, right? Go ahead.
Now unto the King eternal, immortal, invisible.
The King eternal, meaning the Most High God. The eternal, immortal, invisible King that we cannot see but is ever present. Right? Go ahead.
The only wise God.
The only wise God. Them Kemetic gods are not wise gods, especially in comparison to the Most High God of Israel. Read.
Be honor and glory.
Be honor and glory. Glory and honor, right? Halal wa hadar. Okay? Glory and honor and praises to who? To the Most High God, not to any man. Okay, go ahead.
Forever and ever.
Forever and ever, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Okay? So you out here seeking vain glory, and that in of itself, you set yourself up for failure. And then you coming up against the God of Israel. All right? You might as well have slit your own throat in this one, my brother. You might as well have already cut your horse like and handed it to me, my brother. But you ain't just handed it to me. You handed it over to the truth and the Most High God of Israel. Okay. But let's get into some of these things he said, because I got some notes. I've been watching you play. I've been watching you for a while, and I'll say that to a degree I respect a lot of your scholarship. Upon the first time I seen you in one of the videos when you were making a critical examination of Islam and the information you was bringing out about Islam, especially dealing with the Mesopotamian university system and things of that nature, information that I know that I personally knew, but I haven't heard that many people bring out. I was impressed by your scholarship. I'm not gonna lie. You know a lot. I'm not gonna sit here and say that you're just some idiot or some clown. You know, I'm not that type of dude. I'm a respectable dude. You can ask Sarnetta, you can ask any of them guys, Ali Muhammad, Sankofa, any of them different individuals from the conscious community that I know you rub shoulders with and have respect for. You know what I'm saying? I'm a respectable dude, you know, and I gotta tip my hat to you in a lot of regards. But as far as what you were saying about the Bible and Israel and things of that, you're making erroneous errors. Okay, and we're gonna expose how illogical the things that you say are and how unsubstantiated some of the claims that you make are. Okay, now you said in one of your videos that you recently made on Sunday TV, you admitted that ancient Egypt had religion and then automatically tried to recant it. You had religion, you had mythology, you had theology, you had a spiritual system. Do not ever say Egypt was not rooted in religion, because you'd be a goddamn liar, my brother. Anything that has mythology and theology, that is a religion. There was a pantheon in Egypt. You had the Memphite pantheon, and you had the other pantheon, which is the Heliopolis pantheon. You had two different pantheons that merged together and became one pantheon. What is a pantheon? Meaning all gods, right? That's what it means. So you had gods. There was a religious system. Don't deny that. Y'all trying to act like y'all not religious when y'all are some of the most religious people on the planet Earth as so-called black people following the Kemetic thinking and way of life. You understand what I'm saying? Some of the most religious motherfuckers ever, right? And that's what it needs to be. Okay, Mayat is a system. The Torah is a system. We need to go system for system and prove which system is the most expedient and beneficial for us as people of color who are suffering, you know, in the diaspora, suffering after, you know, post-traumatic slave syndrome, right? This is what we need to deal with, my brother. You know, this is what all the rest of that stuff is just a dick measuring contest, quite frankly. Let's see which is better for our people and which we can immediately apply today to our lives to see positive results on a communal and national level. That's what we need to see. What can better us as individuals and what can better us as a whole as black people here in America. That's what we need to do, and that's what we need to put to the test. So let's do it. Torah Maya. I mean, it's on you now. Okay, you've been going around, you've been calling Hebrews out. Well, now I'm calling you out, the Guerrilla Hebrew. Okay, but let me let's go to the next point. And then now look, what he wants to do is he wants us to prove that the Bible isn't plagiarized when he can't even read. Here's what I want you to do. I'm not even going to say you can't even read because I'm not sure. Okay, but there was over 4,000 characters in the Medu Neter. Can you read those? I want to take a random piece of Medu Neter hieroglyphic. I want to pick a random piece out and I want you to read it. You can pick a random piece of Hebrew and we can read it. You can do that. I want you to show me a random piece of Medu Neter that you can read with no problem, or you can read at least mediocrely. Okay, show me that. But you want me to prove that my text isn't plagiarized when you don't even truly know your text in its original form. We can read our text in the original form. We write even more original than the Torahs that you see today, because we deal with the Paleo Hebrew. The Paleo Hebrew that these white people don't even know what to do with. We actually deal with that, okay? We can write it, we can speak it, okay, and we can read it. Can you do that with the Medu Neter is the question. With the 4,000 character language, can you do that? You tell me how many of the translations of the Book of the Dead you read, that's cool. I can sit here and tell you I read the King James, the New King James, the New Living Translation, the Revised Standard Version, the Good News Translation. That's cool, but what matters the most is what it says in the Hebrew and in the Greek. That's what matters the most. So I want you to take a look at the Medu Neter, and I want you to read that Medu Neter and prove that you are a scholar in the Medu Neter. And if not, that's cool, but at least admit that. And don't be so critical to my text when you can't even read your text in its original form to even confirm that the translations in which were made by these cracker scholars are accurate. Okay? Real life. And you criticize, you say, oh, y'all just, anything that some Jewish guy said, y'all take it and parrot it and I'll make you look stupid. Well, crackers went here and told you that the Medu Neter say what it say. Irregardless of any claim you make or any brother, any so-called black man that came along later and tried to do the translation, his translations were still based off the white man translations. We have to deal with that. You cannot logically be so critical to somebody else's text when you yourself cannot read your own in this original form. I'm sorry, you just can't do it. And if you are doing it, you're making yourself look stupid, because I'll pull out a piece of metal net, I'll blow it up on that big screen, and I'll say, read it. And you'll be sitting there staring, looking stupid, okay? With that horse like bouncing around all over the goddamn place, trying to look for help. All right? All right, let's go to the next point, though. And then you continue to accuse us of plagiarization. Okay, you would continue to accuse us of plagiarization as if Egypt stands alone. Egypt got all of this stuff from Cush. You had got everything from Cush, and even the Egyptian Renaissance came at what time? When the Cushites took over. When the Cushites went back into Egypt and started to reign as pharaohs, like Taharka and such. That's when the Egyptian Renaissance started, and that's when you seen overwhelming Cushite themes in the theology, in the art, and in the architecture of ancient Egypt. Let's not deny that. And if you deny that, or if you say I'm lying, don't worry. I have the documentation and I can prove that. I'm just talking a little bit right now. I'm just giving you a little taste, just like you were. I'm gonna show and prove a few things. We're gonna go into some artifacts and a little bit of history in a second. But don't sit here and act like the Kemetic Renaissance was not ushered in by the Cushite pharaohs. Okay, don't ever act, and don't act like Kemet didn't get everything it got from Cush in and of itself. Okay, and the Bible tells us that Cush, Babylon, the Cushites that ruled Babylon were the ones that gave birth to the different mystery systems all over the earth. Kemet being one of them, and that's in the Bible. And you have the nerve to say the Bible is not a history book, which we're gonna get to the bottom of that as well. Okay, and then but here's what I gotta do. I gotta tip my hat to you again. And I gotta thank you for your scholarship. You disqualified Babylon and Timbuktu. You disqualified Hebrew wisdoms of West Africa, which you really didn't disqualify them, but you made claims against them. And then you brought in the Africans that wrote the Bible, by the brother Dakwa. And I appreciate that you did that, because I took a look into that book, which we're going to go, and I'm going to pull it up here on the slides here in a second, some excerpts of that book. And I got it, I'm getting ready to order it, but I got some excerpts offline from that book. And they're beautiful excerpts. And that book actually brings more substantiating information that proves that Babylon, the Timbuktu, and Hebrew wisdoms of West Africa were on point. So I appreciate your scholarship on that, because I'm going to use that book, and I'm going to have to dagger you with that book, even though you own it and you read it. If you own and read that book and you make some of the claims that you make, you stupid as hell, man. I'm just going to come quite frank with you. You're being stupid for that, man, okay? Because that book substantiates a whole lot, and is written by an Ashanti himself, an Akan himself, rather. You see what I'm saying? So, we're going to get into that here in a second. Don't worry, I got a lot of information for you, my brother. And then he calls what we're into Jewish mythology, right? He calls what we're into Jewish mythology and say it's not African. But then he says that we stole it from Kemet. So if in fact we stole it from Kemet, then how is our system not African? Can you explain that? And here's what I want to do. I want to take a lot of your arguments, like I take a lot of you guys' arguments, and I want to entertain them. Well, let's say what you're saying is true here. And what happens is you have a defeatist logic, because your logic in one point, if used in another point, defeats your entire premise. So what you have to do is you have to stay on point with your logic. Because to say our system is not African as you would define it, but to say we stole from you is an oxymoron. Okay, it's oxymoronic. That would prove that our system is African. Okay, and that would prove that there was what you would consider an African people who did that. Okay. What was my next point? Real quick. And then this dude, which I mentioned earlier, he said there is no existence of the Hebraic patriarchy. There's no existence of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. See, here's the problem, right? I did a video. My second video on Sarnetta TV was called "The Guerrilla Hebrew: Time to Show and Prove." I suggest you go and check that out, because in that I cited several things. Okay, I cited the tombs of several Hebraic biblical characters, and there's a tomb called the Tomb of the Patriarch that have the remains of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob within it. We already shut this down. We prerequisitely, you got to get on before you start making these claims about the Hebrew Israelites. You need to check some of our work out and deal with some of these prerequisites, because we already have archaeologically verified these things. Okay, that's what I did on that video, Time to Show and Prove. Went through biblical archaeology, validating the Bible as an accurate history book and validating characters and individuals that were written in the scriptures. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Pontius Pilate, Caiaphas the high priest, and who the world calls Jesus Christ being some of them. Okay? either their bones, their remains, a testament of their existence from outside sources outside of Israel, or their tombs have all been discovered and are archaeologically verifiable. Okay, go check that out for them sources. Okay, the Guerrilla Hebrew, A Time to Show and Prove. All right, you got to deal with certain things, and this is something that we need to do in the community, because you mentioned the Enuma Elish, and PHAROAH in that debate when he destroyed Polite already disqualified the Enuma Elish. If we have done some research and submitted it to the conscious community, those things need to be accepted, and claims like, oh, we stole it from the Enuma Elish never need to be made again, because PHAROAH already went to the Smithsonian article on how the Enuma Elish translation originated, okay? Which is bullshit. They made it sound like the Bible on purpose, all right? Which is probably what they did in Kemet, but you can't read the wall, so you can't tell me that they didn't, okay? For the record. God damn it, okay?
Make some shit up.
Yeah, they can say anything. These crackers can say anything they want to say, man. And they've been following the ways of ancient Egypt. You don't even understand why the so-called white man went around ruling with the church. You don't even have an understanding of that. You don't understand why the so-called white man used the Catholic Church as an engine to conquer the world. You have no idea even about that. Not carnally and not spiritually, okay? So what you need to do is talk about the things you qualify to talk about, which ain't much, because you can't even read the Medu Neter. All right? You can't, and even if you can't read some of it, I know you can't read all 4,000 characters, my brother. Let's just be honest here, okay? But I'm gonna continue. All right? Okay, and then this dude says he doesn't accept eyewitness reports as evidence. He doesn't accept eyewitness reports as evidence. All right? But he'll accept a Eurocentric reconstruction of historical events. The so-called white man will take a look at certain evidence, piece of a hypothetical story together into what they think that occurred, and submit it as a part of a historical record, and you would accept that, but you won't accept an eyewitness account of somebody. That is fucking illogical. That's what I'm saying. We have to attack the logic of some of you so-called conscious guys, because you are very illogical in some of the claims that you make and the things that you say and how you formulate arguments. Okay? These are not logical arguments. And again, I can take your same logic that you have in certain arguments and use it against you and other arguments, right? And you would totally disqualify and dismantle yourself. Okay? So you need to be on your P's and Q's a little more, Shakka. Alright? And then he claims that the Bible isn't a history book, right? Well, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to I want you to read the book of 2 Chronicles, the 12th chapter. Not you, I want Shakka. Shakka, read 2 Chronicles, the 12th chapter, and then read the Bubasite portal in Kemet. And tell me that those aren't the same things, or speaking about the same events, similar accounts of the same events. Then I want you to look at the black obelisk, and then I want you to read 2 Kings, the 10th chapter. And then again, tell me the Bible isn't a history book, okay? And if you say, well, oh, they plagiarized that, that's not a plagiarization. That's like saying, if the USA Today published a story today, and the LA Times publishes a story on the same event tomorrow, that the LA Times plagiarized the USA Today. Is that what happened? No, that's not what the fuck happened. It's objective reporting from different perspectives on the same event. And that's what we see with the Black Obelisk and in the book of 2 Kings, and the same thing with 2 Chronicles and the Bubasite portal, okay? And those aren't the only ones, okay? So that's illogical to say that something's plagiarized off of that basis, okay? If that's the case, then people plagiarize each other every day when you talk about the same thing somebody else had already talked about before. That's fucking ridiculous. Okay? And then I want you to go read the Tel Dan inscription, and then read 2 Kings, the 8th and the 9th chapter, and then read the Assyrian Lakesh reliefs, and then read 2 Kings, the 18th chapter. And those are just 4 archaeological, extra Judea verifiable historical events that we see in the Bible recorded. Okay? Recorded in the Bible. Verifying what? That the Bible is in fact a book of history. Okay? So that whole, take that argument, man, and throw it somewhere else, man. Because that shit ain't gonna work against somebody who know what the fuck they talking about. I'm gonna just be frank with you, my brother. Okay? And then, okay, so the claim that you made, which was a very interesting claim, okay, and it was actually a good claim that you made, okay, and I give you credit because I know that you're an intellectual researcher, okay, based off of the fact that you made this claim, which Polite and said he did not make, okay, which I mean, I don't want to really insult their intelligence too much, which they didn't have the prowess to make, which was the comparison in the eschatology, okay. I appreciate the fact that you said that Israel stole from Egypt's eschatology. Of all things, I appreciate that the most. Reason being is because it's new, it's unique. I haven't heard other conscious guys come with that claim, okay? And it's an interesting claim, okay? But what I'm going to show you is a few scriptures. And I'm going to show you, and number one, the Egyptian eschatology has far more mythology incorporated into it than Israelite eschatology, okay? For the record. Far more mythology, yet we're a religion and we believe in the spook God. But y'all eschatology is some of the most mythological.